everyone. It is so exciting to be here. When I started learning about Chanukah, there was obviously the famous question that everyone asked. Why do we celebrate Chanukah for 8 days if the miracle was only for 7 days? I'm sure everyone knows a bunch of answers for this question, right? Maybe because even the day that we did have oil for, then that day it's also a miracle. It's a natural miracle, but it's still a miracle. And maybe because each day a little bit of the oil was used, and therefore it should have lasted for 1 day, but it lasted for 8 days, and there's a bunch of questions. But one of the questions that no one even asked, which I think is really one of the most important questions, is why did God do a miracle at all? Now, if you ever study Judaism, God is not very big into doing miracles. I know we look at the Bible and we think God does the miracles all of the time just because, but the Rambam says God never did a miracle that there wasn't a need for. Because God doesn't want us to believe in Him because of the miracles, and therefore He only makes a miracle when there's a need for the miracle, either in order to save us from our enemies or in order to save us from a physical calamity like hunger or something like that. But He doesn't just do a miracle because. And if you ever study the halachot of the menorah or Chanukah or whatever else you want, in this scenario there was actually no need at all for the miracle. If a man has no arm, does he have to wear tefillin? Yes or no? No, because he doesn't have an arm. So where is he going to put on the tefillin, right? If a person has nothing to eat, do they have to keep kosher? No, because they don't eat anyways. I don't know, right? They're starving. So if there's no oil, what's the big deal? You don't light the Chanukah. This is actually, you don't have to light, you don't have to go out of your way in order to light a Chanukah if you have no oil. You know, you have enough oil for 1 day. You have enough oil for 1 day. That's it. You don't have to rely on a miracle that God is going to make it light for the next 7 days. You don't have oil. You don't have oil. And actually, there's even another halakha that for the sake of the Jewish people, for the sake of the community, you are able to use an oil that has been contaminated. And therefore, you actually see that there was no need for this miracle at all. So we're celebrating a miracle that there was no need for the miracle. And every year we do this and we never wonder, why did God even do this miracle? By the way, it's very important to notice that in Jewish chronology, this was the last open miracle that God ever did for the Jewish people. I mean, we do have the miracles of 4,000 Qassams falling into Israel, and we're all fine, and mothers send their children to school. They don't send them to school when it's snowing, but they do send them when there's Qassams. But that's the beauty of living in Israel. We really like adrenaline. Okay, but there was never, ever another open miracle like this one. This is the last miracle to have ever happened to a Jewish people. So now, why did God do this for us? Why was it such a big deal? So we all know that the Greeks, they didn't just want to destroy the Jewish people physically. This is not what they cared about. They wanted to destroy our connection with anything that's spiritual, with anything that's holy, with anything that's greater than ourselves. We all know they made the prohibitions of Rosh Chodesh, Shabbat, Brit Milah, because everything they cared about was cutting the connection to anything that's holy, to anything that's higher, to anything that has meaning. And if we study, they were very, very successful. This was one of the times that the Jewish people were like, they were completely lost. Assimilation at its best, right? It was like they were completely lost. So much so that we know that when there was the war and the Hashmonaim went to fight, right? You know, we read this in the Amidah. There was very few people against great amount of numbers. They couldn't find enough Jewish people that would care in order to fight. And Greeks were very successful. You know, pretty much what's happening nowadays in the Jewish world. This is why it's so wonderful that we have organizations like Hidabroot that care for them. But the assimilation around the Jewish world is just crazy. And it's not that they're trying to destroy us physically, emotionally, intellectually, philosophically. They want us to connect any relationship that we have with something greater than ourselves. And they were very, very successful. But what God wanted to show us is that a Jew can run, but he can't hide. It doesn't matter how far away a Jew goes. It doesn't matter how low he falls. there's a spark inside of each Jew that could never, ever, ever go out. There's a beautiful Devar Torah when Yitzchak is blessing his children, right? It says that Yaakov came in and he smelled on him the smell of Gan Eden. And this is why he decided he was going to bless Yaakov. And if you ever look into a pasuk, it says that he smelled Reach Begdav, he smelled the smell of his clothing, and it smelled like Gan Eden. And therefore, he decided he was going to bless him. Our rabbis say, and this is actually a Rashi over there, don't read it as Reach Begdav, the smell of his clothing, but rather read it as Reach Bogdav, the smell of his traitors. Meaning, why did Yitzchak chose to bless Yaakov? Because the traitors of the Jewish people smell good. They smell like Gan Eden. So I'm not very good at English. No, I'm joking. I'm very good. I just have an accent. But a traitor is someone that goes against the faith. Is someone that goes against everything. Yitzchak decided to bless Yaakov, the father of the Jewish people, because of the traitors. I mean, I'm sure you can find some big rabbis. You want to bless them on their name. You know, I'm sure you could have seen in the future to come, there's Rabbi Akiva and the Vilna Gaon. No. That wasn't what made Yitzchak give the blessing to Yaakov. It was the smell of the traitors. So our Torah says, who is these traitors? So it gives you the story of a very, very famous Jew that was far away in Judaism. His name is Yosef Mashita. I don't know if anyone ever heard this story. But when the Romans came to capture the city of Jerusalem, so they wanted someone to give them a tour, because, they don't know where anything is. And who knows it better than Jewish people? They're the ones that live there. So they looked for someone, and they found out this Jew called Yosef Mashita, who's a self-hating Jew. He doesn't like Jewish people, right? He's completely out of it, completely, whatever people call these days, off the derech. He's like, great, this is the person we're going to use. They took Yosef Mashita and they told him, you are going to give us a tour of all of Israel. You are going to tell us where everything that is valuable is saved. And then we're going to give you a prize. You're going to be able to go into a Beit HaMikdash, and whatever you want for yourself, you're going to take it and you're going to keep it as your own possession. So Yosef Mashita, it's like, this is great. Everything in the Beit HaMikdash is made out of gold. I'm going to make tons of money. He does the whole tour, and at the end, it comes the time where he's going to get his prize. And Yosef Mashita goes into a Beit HaMikdash, and he chooses for himself the golden menorah. He comes out with it. Suddenly, the Romans realize, oh, this is not such a good business deal. Like the menorah, it's very, very, expensive. And they say to him, go back, and you can take anything else, just not the menorah. So Yosef Mashita said, I'm not going back. They said, what do you mean? We're telling you you can't take the menorah. He said, fine, I'm just not going back. So they start bugging him. Oh, you became religious now? Now you're so holy? He said, I angered my master once. I'm not going to do it again. The Romans said to him, if you don't go in and take something else, we're going to kill you. And he said, do with me as you want. I'm not going to go in. And the Torah says he got bar minam lo aleinu, he got tortured. They cut his limbs and they did all of these horrible things to him. And Yosef Mashita, it doesn't matter what they did to him, he refused to go in. And he died, but the last words he said was, oy of me that I angered my master. Please welcome me back. Says the Torah, that is the lowest Jew that we have in the world. That is the lowest. This is who you would say it's the Rasha, the biggest Rasha in the world. He took upon himself all of this abuse so that he wouldn't mess up with God again. Says Yitzchak, who wouldn't want to be a master, who wouldn't want to be a god of a nation like this? It doesn't matter how far away you are. It doesn't matter how far you've fallen. It doesn't matter how many mistakes you've done. There's a spark that remains inside of you that refuses to stop existing. And this is exactly why God did the miracle for the Jewish people. We did not need this miracle on a physical level. But we needed this miracle on a spiritual level, on an emotional level. The Jewish people were about to go into exile. They're about to enter the greatest dark period they've ever been in history. We're about to go through things like the Inquisition and the pogroms and the Holocaust and everything that's going on. And God said, I'm going to do this miracle for you so that you know that it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how far you think you are from me. What does Mishle says? Kiner Hashem Nishmat Adam, because the candle of God is the soul of man, inside your soul. If you look very deep within, even if it's been, even if it's been put away by all of these obstacles and all of these mistakes and all of these sins and all of these impurities and every single thing that you've done wrong in your life, says Hashem, if you look deep within, you're always going to find a person that believes. You're always going to find a Jew that believes in God, that wants to connect to God, that wants to do the truth. Hashem did this miracle for us because he understood we need to believe in ourselves. We need to know that there's always a point of return. And it doesn't matter how far we are, we can always come back. And that's the beauty of the miracle of Chanukah. We're now in the darkest month of the year, in the middle of crazy winter. And I don't know what, I've been in Israel for 6 years. Every Chanukah, there's like a snow blizzard. I don't even know what happens. Everyone is standing outside of their house. Hail is falling, and it makes for really cute pictures, but it's freezing, right? And that's when we go and we light the Chanukiah. Yes. Because if there's one thing that Jewish people are good at, is that we don't give up. Jewish people, they keep on fighting. They never give up. When there's no light, we create light. We don't wait for God to give us salvation. We don't wait for God to show us the way. We say, God, we're looking at it. We're going to do it. Whether you want to help us or not, we're going to figure it out. And now we may wonder, what does that have to do with us? But this is exactly what being a woman is about. We all know, some of us are older, some of us are younger, but we all know that as women, sometimes we feel like we fail in life. We have a lot of compromises. We have to take care of so many things. And it's very hard because sometimes we feel a failure as a mother and we feel a failure as a wife and we feel like we're not doing good enough because that's how great we are. Even good enough is not good enough. We always want to be amazing. And therefore God says women are the ones that are, we don't like, as Rabbi Orlovsky says, but we are obligated in this mitzvah. Because women, we're professional at something. We're professional at finding light in the darkness. We're professional at turning on the light when you don't see any light. There's a beautiful halakha that says that we all know that when we light the Chanukiah, we're supposed to light it outside or by the window. Because the whole mitzvah of the Chanukiah is that you're supposed to publicize the miracle, right? We all know this. And therefore, you're supposed to light it in a way where people are going to see it. And even if you're lighting it in the house, you're supposed to light it with other members. But Halakha asks, what about if you're in a time of danger? What about if you're in a time that is not safe to light the Chanukiah? What are you going to do? So Halakha says, then you light it at home, even though no one is going to see it except for you. So the question is, but if no one is going to see it, what's the point of me lighting? I already know it's Chanukah. If the whole point is to publicize the miracle, why do I need to do it? I already know it's Chanukah. I don't know if you have ever seen this, but if you ever go to Yad Vashem, there's an amazing picture. I think this is the most wonderful picture in Yad Vashem. It's at the beginning, where it shows life in like Germany right before the Holocaust popped out, whatever you want to call it. There's a picture of someone lighting their Chanukiah, and behind the Chanukiah, there's a Nazi flag. I don't know if anyone has seen this picture. It's just beautiful. You know why we're supposed to light the candles, even at a time of danger, even in our own homes? Because what God is saying is, when everything is dark outside, you need the miracle for your own self. You need to remember, right, that I'm here with you. You need to remember that even though everything is dark outside, I am here. I'm going to help you. And that's something that we women have. We women have something called emunah. Whenever you see that the Jewish people gave up, they thought that's it, we're not going out of Egypt, we're not going out of this, we're not going out of that. It was always the women that took the lead and made the step and tried it out and said, we're going to go out. And this is why every single holiday, there's actually 3 mitzvot, right, that are to commemorate miracles. There's the 4 cups of wine, there's the Megillat Esther, there's, right, the Chanukah candles. Women are obligated on all of them. It's really funny because they're all mitzvot she'azman grama. They're all mitzvot that are dependent on time. But we're obligated on each one of them. Because it was because of the women that the miracle was able to happen. The women did not wait for God to have an initiative in order to take them out of Egypt. The women did not wait for God to have an initiative in order to save them from the Romans or the Greeks or whoever you want. The women took the lead, because if there's something that we understand is that when it looks dark, you don't just wait for the light to come back. You take a candle and you light it yourself. And this is why one of our mitzvot every week is that we light the Shabbat candles. The Torah teaches us that this world is compared to the moon. And this is why we follow the moon calendar. And next world is compared to the sun. And the Torah says why? Because in this world, everything is dark. We're all full of pain. We're all full of sorrow. We're all full of difficulties. Each one of us have our fears and our insecurities. And even when something is going right, then we don't even know what's going on. Next world, right, is like the sun. We're going to have clarity. And we're going to see God. And we're going to see the answers. And we're going to see the solutions. But you know what we do every Shabbat? We light our candles right before Shkia. Right when it's about to get dark, we say, no, it's not getting dark in my house. I'm going to take the candle and I'm going to expand that light. I'm going to take the light of that world and I'm going to bring it into this world. And when we're lighting the Chanukiah, it's right before it gets dark. That's like the most mehadrin time. And we're saying, no, it looks dark outside, but it is not really dark. So every week in the Tehillim of Shabbat, we say, Lehagit baboker chazdecha memunatcha baleilot. In the morning, when you have clarity in your life, when you see God, when you have emunah, speak about it. Don't just wait. Take it. Speak about it. Write it. Use it. Because if not, you're not going to be able to make it in the middle of the darkness. You want to have emunah when it's night? You want to have emunah when it looks dark outside? Then you have to speak in the morning about the light and about all of the kindness that God does for you and about all of the goodness that happens in your life. And that's exactly what we do every single week. We expand it, and this is why we're able to hold ourselves as Jewish people. And obviously we know that there's no Jewish people without woman, right? We're able to hold ourselves through the darkness of exile and through the difficulties of everything that is to come. And that's what we're going to do in the Hanukkah candles. It amazes me that Hanukkah always falls in the shortest day of the year, the darkest time of the year. But we take our light and we put it outside and we say, you're confused. It looks dark outside, but it's not dark. It's just how it looks. It's because you didn't see within. Every morning we say one of the blessings, Baruch atah Hashem, anoten la'sechvi, v'ina le'avchim ven yom uven laila. Sorry, I don't speak Ashkenazi. Okay. Anoten la'sechvi, v'ina le'avchim ven yom uven laila. We say to Hashem, thank you, God, that you give to the rooster the ability to differentiate between night and day. So I don't know if anyone ever here grew up in a farm or something like that. But when the rooster sings, right, they go kukuruku, kikiriki, whatever. I told my daughter, she says, tarnegol, kikiki. Okay. When the rooster sings, that it's the middle of the morning, how does it look outside in the sky? It looks completely dark. So dark, you're not able to differentiate people unless they're close to you. When the day it's already starting, it looks completely dark outside. Says our rabbis, you're not referring to the rooster. Hanoten la'sechvi, bina le'avchim, bina. That's us women. It looks dark outside. There's a lot of pain. Men concentrate on the problem. Women concentrate on the solution. This is the way we live our lives. It looks dark outside, but we're going to manage. I don't ever understand women. I mean, we're like really a special specimen. Like, we could be working and having 15,000 kids. I really don't know how anyone has 15,000 kids anyways. And doing all of this stuff. And we always manage. Men have the flu, they're dying. How does that happen? Because that's what we do. We know the flu is not going to last forever. I just want to finish with one of the most powerful lessons I ever learned in my life. There's a famous rabbi called Rabbi Nachman. I always say this lesson. This is my favorite lesson ever. But Rabbi Nachman of Breslov says the following. He says, imagine you go into the room and the lights are off. Are you going to see anything in the room? For sure not. You're not going to see chairs. You're not going to see people. You're not going to see anything because there's nothing there. But then he says, but then you go back into a room and you turn on the light switch. Would you think it was like Toy Story, everyone quickly running to their place before you turn on the light? No, what do you know? Everything was always there, but you lacked the ability to see because the lights were off. Says Rabbi Nachman, that's our life. Some people live in darkness. Some people live without God. Some people have no emunah. Some people are in their problems and in their sufferings and in their difficulties. And you know why? It's not because God put them there. It's because they forgot to turn on the light switch. The light switch called Hashem. The light switch called emunah. And if you turn it on, you're going to see how everything in your life becomes so apparent. You're going to see how the darkest month of the year is the month with the most light. And you're going to see how the darkest hour is right before the dawn. And you're going to be the rooster that's going to sing that it's daylight when it still looks dark outside. If we are living in darkness, that's not because God put us there. It's because we didn't turn on the light switch. Chanukah is the time to learn how to turn the light switch in our lives. Where we say, I'm not going to wait till you turn on the light. I'm not going to wait till things become better in my life. I'm not going to wait till my husband is better, till my kids behave better. No, I'm going to take the candle and I'm going to bring that light into my own life. I'm going to take the initiative. Because if I believe, if I speak about it, and if I believe God is here with me, then everything suddenly in my life is going to make sense. And I'm going to have clarity and I'm going to be able to move forward. So I just want to, I am not anyone to bless, but I just want to bless each one of us that any struggle that we're dealing with and that any difficulty, it could be in our marriage, parnasah, children, whatever it is, that Hashem gives us the ability. You know, they always say it takes two to tango. It only takes one to be happy. It just takes one person that says, I'm going to make the change. I'm going to make the difference. I'm going to bring God into my life. So I give us all a blessing that we're able at this dark time to bring God into our lives and to make that switch, to light the light and look at the world with different eyes. Thank you so much. It's not Shabbat Shalom, but it always comes well. Great. Shabbat. Chanukah Sameach.